and having the incidents that we've had. You can see the title here. We're saying, let's analyze the issues. Because so many things came up in the course of this. And right now we have seen the results of what has happened. Let me just let the people into the studio so we can take up. And thank you again for joining us. Let's see what we can learn from these incidents. Or this last one particularly, he's out again. His network. Oh dear. Are you sure he's not trying to trick us so that he won't be the one to start the conversation? Oh dear. In the meantime, let me get some. So what should we do? Will you start the conversation? I would have preferred for Shaya to start the conversation. I would have
Okay.
preferred. And I think he knows that I like to do that. So that's why I'm suspecting that there's always a possibility.
No, I don't think so. I think it's his network.
It boils down to civility. Whether you're looking at the individuals involved, or the organizations involved, or the nation we run, it is clear that we seem to have a democratic rule, but we don't have a civil administration. I don't know why the Nigerian thinks that the louder he gets, the more power he seems to be portraying. The more brash an average Nigerian is, the more he thinks that he's demonstrating power and authority. Any person that you put in authority seem to push people around to show how important he is. Yeah?
Hmm.
Simple, a military person, maybe even a sergeant. As soon as he enters uniform, he looks at every person as beneath him. The man that has a gun thinks that he has superior power simply because he has a gun. The man that you're brutalizing may be stronger than you. The only edge you have is that you have a piece of metal, which if he has, there will be a balance of power. Now, it brings me to saying that this nation called Nigeria, we need to learn the principles of civilization. The ethics that shows consideration for the feelings of others. What I was trying to say is that there is a social engineering we need in Nigeria. There is a mindset, an approach to life and living that demonstrates civility. We just don't have it. At the national level, at the societal level, at the family level, and at the individual level. An average Nigerian has gone to school, possibly he has a degree, but he doesn't have a degree on how to relate with the next person. We
Mm-hmm.
still have the basic chieftaincy mentality from the village, where the taller you are, the louder you are, the more power you are seen to have. So anybody who has any advantage drops it as a statement, which is why an air hostess will see a passenger. More information is coming out. The lady had put her phone on aircraft mode, according to what we are hearing. The air hostess is insisting that you should put off your phone. And the lady is insisting that she has put her thing on aircraft mode. And the air hostess is trying to push her weight around. And the girl is trying to show that you don't push me around. I know what I'm doing. And then it ends on a complete breakdown of law and order. Okay, even in the way she was overpowered and thrown out from the aircraft, what makes all that necessary?
Mm-hmm.
Even if she has committed a crime, it's not a crime against those staff of the airline. It's a crime against the state. I was coming into Nigeria once. I landed at the airport. I had been gone for about 6 weeks, so I hadn't heard all the noise of Nigeria. And suddenly I heard a loud slap behind me. What happened? A mobile policeman, an inspector, had just slapped one man who came into the arrival lounge. So I called the mobile policeman. I said, come here. He came. Of course, in Nigeria, you have to know who you are to take some positions. So I told him, what is that slap for? He screamed, he said, did you not see what he did? I told him, for your information, my name is Brigadier General Osai Chaplain. And I saw the incident. And I said to him, he first of all saluted me. His language changed. And then he began to listen to me. I said to him, even if the person did committed an offense, it's not an offense against you personally. So why are you exercising so much power? You discharge some energy in an attempt to slap him, right? He said yes. So what is that energy for? Is it an offense against you personally? He said no. I said, therefore, all you needed was you have infringed on a standard. Let me have your hand. If it's handcuff, I want to put on you, I put it on you, and match you with dignified tendency to wherever you need to be addressed. So this show is not necessary. He saluted me, apologized, and we ended it there. But it's a reflection of our society. Anybody that has any edge wants to rub it off on you. Doesn't matter how small the edge is. The firstborn in a family is trying to show every person that he's firstborn, and therefore everything must start and end with him. The
Mm.
man in the house is trying to tell the woman that I'm the boss here. Some people even have the skin of a lion on a particular seat in the house, and only Baba sits there. Then you go to family meeting, a village meeting. Every person is trying to drop his rod. Either that you're a title holder, a traditional title holder, or you're the chief. And therefore, you must demand a certain measure of. Do you see the time we waste? We have conferences. Do you see the time we waste trying to, first of all, exchange pleasantries? Anybody you mention his name, you must mention the PhD he has, his chieftaincy title, his military rank, and there are people whose own is as long as one's arm. And if you don't mention any particular one, the meeting can be delayed until it is done.
Bishop, I know what you are saying because I'm an MC. I MC events. So I can't make that kind of mistake.
Exactly.
So I have to go and find out from each person before the event starts how they want to be addressed.
Fantastic. Look at that. A
Okay.
meeting that is supposed to start by 3 p.m. can start by 5 simply because we are trying to address every person how they should be addressed for the meeting to hold.
So what are we going to do about
Well,
that?
first of all,
What will you do about that on a
no,
personal
let
level?
us first
I think
wait
because
now. Let us first of all recognize that we have that problem because many people don't even know we have it. It starts from first of all, like this conversation. Is it really true that there is a problem in this society? It's a social engineering thing. My son was coming back to Nigeria from America and he was flying through uh, Schiphol Airport. So they stopped. It's a transit. You have to change your something. So they stayed there for about some hours and they went to buy burger. And some guys was just making noise in the burger point. And of course, they were Nigerians. They were demanding attention, but thereby constituting themselves into a nuisance. You don't have to attract attention to yourself always. But you see, in Nigeria, everybody attracts attention to himself. Otherwise, you don't exist. So I am saying that fundamentally, just like we teach civil responsibilities in primary school, we need to go back to the families, to the schools, to areas in society, so that we can inculcate proper societal behavior. You are not less by not trying to establish recognition. It doesn't make you less.
Oh dear. Did he leave?
I think the same
He's
issue
not there.
happened as before.
Maybe someone called.
Yes, and it ended the.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh dear.
I share a lot of the sentiments that Bishop raised. That are the heart of these problems, these issues, and we're talking from the Kwam incident to the which was on Value Jet to the Ibome incident, and for the different players in both incidents. When I say the different players, for Value Jet, Kwam himself, of course, as is clear to everyone, his conduct was disorderly. And I think that the initial suspension or ban that was placed on him is befitting of the crime that he had committed. Also, the pilot, because there are different actors. The lady pilot, as much as I'm an advocate for women, that was not a bright moment for her because she acted against all aviation safety protocols by taxing even before completing pre-departure procedures. She could have hurt ground staff as well as passengers by such a reckless act. I mean, I know that she probably was triggered by Kwamwon's behavior, but you see, when you are entrusted with the lives of many people as a pilot, you ought to conduct yourself with greater calm and responsibility and not get so agitated and pressured to the point that you act personally and as recklessly as the pilot did. So as much as I've heard people say nice things about her, and those things may be true, but in that particular instant, she made an error of judgment. And I think that the sanction is in order. And then coming to the Bomer, first there is the passenger, the lady, who, I mean, people from the different angles that are coming out, they're saying she was provoked by the cabin crew. She was triggered by the cabin crew. Now, if all of us were to react to every trigger that we get, I don't think that there will be any peace in the land. So that someone has acted in a wrong way doesn't mean that we should also act in the wrong way, because two wrongs can never make a right. As long as there is no direct threat to our lives or risk of bodily injury, harm, I think the right thing to do is to seek redress through constituted means, legal means, whatever channels of redress that we can employ. go through those channels instead of getting physical. So, yes, the cabin crew may have gone out of line, and I am not in any way applauding her for that. And it still boils down to, what Bishop was talking about. When we have little authority, in quotes, we want to lord that power, lord that authority, lord that advantage over people. I used to be head of corporate communications for a conglomerate, and one of the businesses was an airline. So I was spokesperson for an airline. And I remember one time Basket Mouth, the celebrity, calling me to complain about a particular staff of ours. And when I dug deeper and I was speaking with this staff, I heard him, he didn't know I was listening. I heard him bragging to other colleagues how on that plane he was Lord and he was going to put people in their place. So issues that could have been dealt with in a more civilized manner, because we have small power, we want to show that power. And that is the tendency of the average Nigerian. We complain a lot about the people in power, the people in authority. But if we were to get, even if it's a tiny bit of that power, if we were to be put in a position of authority, a lot of us would act even worse than those people that we point fingers at today, because of what Bishop said.
Right.
Because at the root of all of this is an ego problem. And then there's also that problem of incivility. So I was making, establishing that there were missteps from ValueJet's Kwam 1 as a passenger, the pilot, from Ibome, the cabin crew, the purser of that flight, the passenger, the errand passenger, the Miss Emanson, and of course, the ground staff and ABSEC that whisked her off the aircraft, and the manner in which they did it. There's a common thread between all of this, and it was what Bishop said before,
Hmm.
that we are an egotistical people, and there's also the problem of civility there as well. And the funny thing is that all of these different actors, if they were outside of this country, from Kwam 1 to the pilot, to the
Mhm.
purser of the Ibome flight, to Miss Emanson, to even the aviation security people, outside of this country, everyone would have acted differently. So why is it that when we're here, we are unruly, we are civilized, we are power drunk, but then when we get to other climes, we respect how things are done? I think
Mhm.
there's a fundamental issue about the things, the values that we have been raised with, that we need to address. And I think that's what Bishop was trying to speak to earlier. Also, I know you've been itching to say something, so go ahead and say.
Well, not really. Well, I was just happy that you eventually brought it down to, if they were somewhere else, they wouldn't do that, because even when we talk about people in a little bit of with a little bit of authority and they start flexing muscles, it actually only happens because we already have that lawlessness that we're used
Yes,
to.
enabling environment.
Yes, because that's what prevails. That's our behavior. So I was going to say, the only thing I was really going to say is, and for me that has been the main thing right from the first time that I saw the first video, is, so why is this happening? Why is any of this happening? And as we know, this platform is about family and relationships. If you ask me, I think that we can talk from now till the kingdom come about what we do, why this person did that. But I think if we don't bring it down to where it really comes from, it doesn't matter if somebody is in a position or not. I think it really comes down to what is happening with upbringing, right? And I wouldn't say that it's even about being strict. or yeah, I wouldn't say that it's about being strict or being disciplined. Uh, that's what I would really like us to talk about. So when I
Yes.
well yes, so when I titled this thing, you corrected me and I changed the title. But now that you see where my mind, the direction I'm coming from, what can somebody say about the effect of upbringing on us? What are we missing? What are we not looking at that is creating this? Bishop also talked about people from the village and being a chief and all that. I really do not think that our traditions um, are, encourage us to be bullied. I don't think so.
No,
Actually, I think that it is because
sorry, Uzo. I think
yeah.
the sense in which Bishop stated that was that, everyone is like a lord in
Mm-hmm.
their, which is, here, almost like a cultural thing. And I think, no offenses to any tribe,
Yeah.
um, to the Igbo
Yeah.
particularly,
Yeah.
everyone is a chief. And I like that about them, you know. In the Igbo land, you will not see somebody stepping on lying on the floor for somebody to step over them, right? The Igbo people have this great sense of pride, which is a good thing, which can be a good thing. But there's also the negative side of that, which is what we're speaking to, where everyone wants to show power. Everyone wants to show um, exert power to show the other person, to oppress the other person because of some advantage that they have. And this, cuts across tribes. This is not just, I just used that example because, Bishop was talking about chieftaincy. And I know that generally, Igbo people are masters unto themselves.
Mm.
They more than any tribe are masters unto themselves. Everyone is, like I like that about them. But then there's the negative side where we want to now lord our advantage over other people. And I think that's the sense that Bishop
Yeah.
was speaking about, that chieftaincy thing. It's just the lording your advantage to
So
oppress another person, to show that you
when
are better than
when we
another
talk
person.
about it, when we talk about it as regards our traditions, I really think that when we see that in behavior now, I think it is because our traditions have been contaminated.
Corroded.
Yes,
Mm.
contaminated, because I don't think that that's our original behavior. Our original behavior has respect for the dignity of persons. Aside from, yes, we did have some cultural things where people, twins were killed or slaves were buried with the chiefs and all that, right? But I think that generally, really, if we go back to our traditions, we had respect for the dignity of person. I think that it is the new culture that was brought to us, right, that diluted things and now spread evil across us, across the whole board, in so many things.
I
Because
agree.
yeah,
I
but that's a
agree.
conversation for another day, right? And
Yes.
I'll just use this opportunity to say that we have to start looking deeper into our traditions and the corruption that we now have as a system, because I believe, from my observations at least, I can see that having the foreign ideas, right, being mixed, not everything about our cultures 100% good, right? Not everything. But we are human beings, we evolve. So you see where you need to make changes and all that. But on the whole, it is having the foreign ideas that have really destroyed the fabric of our society, and we're not being conscious of that. But we'll have those conversations at another time. Today we're talking about this particular thing, right? And I wanted to
Yes.
bring it down to family. Shaya, please, can you say something?
Um, I think Tony has nailed it, except the fact that when you spoke, I feel it is not about upbringing alone. You understand? It's just like it's a factor, but out of many factors. There's something that they call societal orientation. You understand? I live in Ikorodu, you get. And then in Ikorodu, you know that if you are going, can you hear me?
Where we can hear
Yes,
you
we
perfect.
can hear you.
Okay. In Ikorodu, if you want to enter public bus, you know that if it's not BRT, you must be on your heels. You must pick your heels to enter. You understand? But there's a place at Benson bus stop. The admirals managed to create a system that when you get there, you queue. And then I met it that way, and it has always been like that. You understand? When you create a system, automatically people will fall in line. What am I trying to say? I remember when I was much younger, I think I was in SS1 or so. You know, this time around, they will give us third term. They will give us long holiday, and then we have time, excess time in our hands and all that. So I decided that, like, okay, let's do, there's something that they call form. You get a form, 5-a-side. You pick 5 players, you form the competition and all that. So I decided to, like, okay, let's do 5-a-side. You go get your team, I'm going to get my team, and then there will be prize and all that. You know, and I said, okay, form is out, that people should go and get their forms. You want to know the shocking part was that I couldn't afford to pay for referee. I couldn't afford to pay for linesman. I couldn't afford to get a coach and all that. Do you know what happened? People started buying the forms, and then people start volunteering for those positions. It means that when you create a system, people just need leader. They will fall in line. Mm-hmm. You may not get this thing, not until you try to do Uber with your vehicle in Lagos. You now see how rude people can be. In fact, you regret your life. Somebody that does not have marwa or does not have what do you call it? This wheelbarrow. Just in the name of paying you maybe 2,000, will readily, they have this kind of orientation that after I'm paying, I can afford to be rude to anybody. It's the same way that the conductor is prepared to, like, okay, conductor is somebody's father, is prepared to be rude to somebody's mother. And then the person that is coming is prepared already. You understand? It is not the fault of the conductor. Neither is the fault of the mama that is living his house, the trader that's like, okay, once I enter, if the conductor can't do anyhow, he go see anyhow. So we are wired that way. So now, that was what led to what actually happened. The lady was out of line. The other people, they were out of line too. You understand? But then, the question you want to ask yourself is that, are they being trained? In that, okay, if you face this kind of a thing, how do you manage such a situation? If you look at it very well, there was only one policeman on ground. Check that video very well. Just one policeman. And then did you hear what Kwam said? He called the owner of the plane right there at the tarmac, and he was threatening that you will feel me. It speaks volume. So I feel we have a lot to do as a society. It's just that the only sad part of it is that this will have been a golden opportunity for us to reorientate ourselves.
But then, that what we're doing?
No, I'm not talking of us. I'm talking of the people in power.
Oh.
Do you know what they did? They turned it to a fun fair. They politicized it.
That's why I've been
smiling. They indirectly encouraging Oloshos of this world, young people of this world, that you can do anything and go. Okay, just imagine that babe happens to be a guy. Are we going to be saying the same thing now? Never. It can never be the same story. All of a sudden, somebody is telling her that you will make money, go and join, what do they call this? So only you. Is it only you now?
Only fans.
No, that's good. What?
Only fans.
Only fans.
Only fans, thank you. Yeah, thank you. They're telling her that go and join, you will make money, you will become millionaire. And that is saying they've gotten a job for her. I don't know the kind of job that they will be paying her 500,000 every month. For what? For what, please? So I feel disappointed. Not only because of the action of those of the actors involved. No, errors can happen. But as a nation, how do we correct the errors? And there must be a lesson learned. To any experience, there must be a lesson learned. But it's so pathetic, it's so unfortunate that the lesson that we are supposed to learn, that you can tell people that, okay, one of the lessons is that always put on your bra, regardless. Regardless. Put on bra.
Why is that a lesson? Shaya, I don't think that's one of the lessons from here for me personally.
No, hold on. Ask me why. Okay, good. You should ask me now. Should I tell
Yes,
you?
why? Why is that a lesson?
All right. Okay, I will tell you. Let's assume that there was no crisis, there was no fight. That one thing like that from the door or from the couch or from the whatever just hook the cloth of that woman and it tore it apart. You know, anything can happen. It could be the door of a car. You understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying?
I'm begging
Yeah,
you. Can we?
but
Can we?
there are
Can we
many
leave it?
other reasons
Can we
that
leave it?
somebody
No,
can decide to go, a lady can, for
Tony.
preference.
No, wait
Yes.
now. Tony, wait, I'm sorry. Let me just say this and keep my mouth shut. You understand? I am not saying that's the only lesson. I am saying part of lesson that we can take home, part of the take home from that incident that a decent lady, now person mama this girl will be, it's going to affect the children. Either we like it or not.
What has decency got to do with it, Shaya? What has decency
No,
got
what
to
I'm,
do with it?
yes, no, wait now.
Tony,
To
leave
anything
it.
in life, to anything, there are lessons to learn. Don't let us
Yes,
be.
I agree on that point.
Don't let us be.
The lady was unruly. I agree on that point. But I don't know anything about indecency here.
Okay, I have highlighted that. That's number one. Number two, you know, I've highlighted that. That's number 1 point. Dress smart, dress good, be decent. It's very important.
She was dressed well now. She was wearing a jacket.
She was dressed well.
This is what is happening. Okay. I've told you that that's it. No, Tony, let me ask you. Tony, be sincere. Ladies on the street of Lagos, is it a trendy thing now or not? I mean, ladies don't put on bra.
Okay, we agree.
Is
okay.
it a trend now?
We don't want to miss the other things that we're
Tony,
going to say.
No.
Yes, but why is that an issue? Why is that a problem? Why does wearing bra or not wearing bra, what does it have to do with decency?
No. Wait, answer me, yes or no?
You know the reason I'm saying because
Yes,
we're how many
there are
minutes
more
on?
people
We
who
had
are
technical issues.
going braless, but how is that a
important
decency issue?
No, wait now. Must we not talk about our point?
Yeah, but can we give priority? Can we come back to this later?
Because no. Your priority may be different from our own priority.
It's linked. Also, allow him. It's linked. It's all linked. Yes, go ahead, Shaya. But I want to understand. The reason I'm asking, I want to understand how now let's stay on the case. How was the lady indecently dressed? Is that what you're saying?
That wasn't what I said now.
You said we can learn to dress decently. Isn't that what you wear bra?
Tony, let me spell it out in black and white. Let me say it in black and white. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I am saying, I am not judging the lady. I talked about all the actors involved in the matter, in the subject matter, all the actors. And I'm saying that we as a people or as a country, we lost a very important opportunity to reorientate ourselves. And I'm talking about the board, I am talking about the powers that be, the people that can determine that. And even the press. You understand? Agenda setting. So what am I trying to say is that it should be, that act should be condemned. You know, both from Kwam to Mercy and to the other actors. You know, it should be condemned. That's what I'm saying. And then when we condemn it, and then they should be punished appropriately. Yes, all the parties. So when you now try to, instead of punishing the lady now, you are exalting her, which I find it very hard to wrap my brain around that. What's the essence of the gift? I don't get it.
Okay, so which brings us back to the person or the people who are offering the gifts. They're doing this thing not anonymously. Are they doing it anonymously? They're not.
Not at all.
If they're not doing it anonymously, and we can go all the way back to, it's just society that we have. Let's put it this way. Our president, current president right now, how did he assume office? I don't think that that would have happened in a society that would not allow it. So at the end of the day, whatever we are seeing that is playing out because a society is open to allowing and accepting these things, right? But what is always important to me, I am done. You know how I am? I am done with pointing fingers. The reason is when we're pointing fingers and saying this person, these people, those people, that it's not going to make a difference. We can talk from today till the kingdom come. The society should do this, the government should do this. Let us take everything that we can do for ourselves. Like if I go in my own family, right? I talk to my sister, I talk to my brother, I talk to my friend. You do this in your own family. Pay attention to how we can inculcate good values just in my own little circle. Forget about everybody else. Let me do for myself so that my sister, my brother, my child, those people can see and learn that. If I can just manage that one, right? Before I start talking about society, because yeah, what you said is true. Society affects us. If somebody does something somewhere, it comes back to affect us. But why do we keep on talking about things that we're not even? Start with the one that I can control. So I feel that for me, this conversation is just telling everybody in your own home, do in your own immediate circle, and stop talking about society.
Unfortunately, family is just one out of the five pillars of society.
Okay, actually,
unfortunately, it's just one out of the pillars.
The reason why I said that, right? Like these people you're talking about, the air hostess who likes to flex her muscles, the lady who was acting in that wild manner. If you look at it really, and this is what has been on my mind from the beginning. When I saw that girl reminded me of somebody that I worked with, right? And people that I work with now. When you see somebody behaving that way, even the lady who was flexing her muscles, when you see Tony, if you feel loved and if you love yourself, you are not going to do those things. You are not going to do those things. And that is the fundamental thing. See, we don't even understand this thing. I hate to sound like I'm trying to sound cliche or making up poetry or whatever. But the truth is that love is what is the problem. Right?
Discipline is a problem, not love.
Even you cannot discipline without love. That's why I said it's not even about discipline.
I beg to disagree.
Okay.
I beg to disagree.
We're not here to argue. We're not here to argue. It's okay. We're not here to argue.
I can give you. Wait, are you saying if I give you my own point, is that an argument?
No, go ahead.
You argue now. Let's not argue. Let's not argue. Let us learn from one another.
We're trying to see diverse perspectives so that we can all learn something outside of what we already know. So please, Uzo, let Sheye say what he wants to say.
No. I want to address what Uzo just said. Are you saying for anything that you say, I should just say yes? That is not an argument. That's supporting your point.
I think you just heard what you wanted to hear, because I said let us not argue. Right? I said
we are not arguing.
I make my point. Make your point.
What you don't know. See, it always reflects because of the fact that you did not do philosophy. Argument is their set of points. Points.
I accept.
Then you now have to allow me to land.
I accept.
Set of points. No, listen now, please.
I'm listening.
Sheye, go ahead. Go ahead and make your point. I mean, I was following your point earlier, and I agree to a large extent. But my point of disagreement was when you narrowed in on the lessons. I agree that there are lessons to be learned, but what I fail to understand is how wearing bra, for me personally, I know there are many lessons that we can highlight that I would like to highlight as well. But what I can't understand is how wearing bra is a lesson from this. I don't understand.
we can have that as a conversation some other time, right? On its own, because that's a full conversation. I understand what Shaya is saying with that. I agree with him.
And Tony,
I agree with
Tony,
the
Yes.
sentiment, but I just don't
Tony,
think that it fits into
Tony, I think
this
I
incident.
have issue with the way and manner that Uzo want to be doctoring my
He just wants to
perspective.
accuse me.
Uzo, you have to let Sheye
No,
air
no,
his
no.
view.
It's okay. It's
No,
Please.
I'm
okay.
not
Just
stopping
continue.
him.
I'll be listening. I'll be listening.
But no, this is not fair. This is not fair. I take offense to this because I didn't stop him.
No,
He finished
Uzo, I
talking.
think it was when you said let us not argue, because we're not arguing. We're only trying to make
I know. I have to insist
cases
on it
from
because
our
because because
own
let me
perspective.
let me let me quote
Yes.
him verbatim. Let me quote him. I said love is the issue, and he said no, love is not the issue. Right?
Yeah,
That
but
is
but
that's
but
giving the
yes,
point.
let him say why instead of saying let us not argue. It's almost like shutting him up, Uzo.
Oh,
So
okay. No,
please
that
let
no, no,
other
no,
people
no.
say you
Okay,
might
that's
have a
not my.
different view. It's like you say no, okay, let's leave it at that. But let him explain and say why he feels that um, there's another issue other than what you have identified. Because we're all here to learn. We don't know it all.
It's a misinterpretation. When I said let us not
So,
argue,
yeah, so
I
I think
also
it's an
followed it.
interpretation thing. So
Yeah,
Shaye, I know that Uzo did not mean any harm. So please, I would like to learn what you're trying to say, and
because
I'm sure our
I
viewers
didn't
want
follow
to
it
learn
up
as
by
well.
saying I didn't follow it up
Tony,
by
continue.
saying
I'm listening.
I didn't follow it
I'm
up by
listening.
saying yes, Shaya, go ahead and say what you're saying.
No,
We don't need to
Tony,
argue.
continue.
We can make our
Tony,
points.
Okay,
Tony, can
okay.
you hear me,
So
sir?
yes, I can hear you, Shaye and Uzo.
Okay, continue.
Um,
Continue.
yes, what I want to say is still linked to what Uzo you said before about the basis, going back to the basics, which is how we are raising our young ones and the kind of values that we are inculcating in them, the kind of values that we are glorifying as a people, and this reflects in the things that we reward. The kind of things that we reward reflects what our real values are. And before we came on air, you and I were talking about how, for instance, Miss Emerson, if I got Emerson, is now being chased for ambassadorial deals and jobs. And I asked the question, how about the person that scored highest in WAEC and JAM? Why are people not falling over themselves to give those people scholarships and endorsements and things like that?
Mhm.
Which is one of the things that reflects what we value,
Yeah.
what
For
our
people who are
values are as a
creating
people, the
things.
things we reward, the things we glorify, show
Mhm.
what our values are. I'm not judging Miss Emanson, right? Um,
Mhm.
the only thing I can say is that, and I have said that not just for her, but for all the actors in these two cases, the missteps that everyone took, we have dealt with those missteps. The Kwam one was wrong. Is disorderly conduct and his punishment, as spelt out initially, I thought fits the crime because he held an entire plane hostage. That's terrorism. That's an act of terrorism. The pilot was reckless. I said that earlier, and should be sanctioned, rightly sanctioned. The cabin crew, the purser, the lead cabin crew on Ibome was high-handed in the way that she handled that whole situation, because that's what caused the whole matter to escalate into what it did. Then the passenger, the Missy Manson, had no reason, in spite of the provocation, to have been that aggressive, you know, on the plane. There's no place for such incivility in a progressive society. In fact, when these things happen everywhere, it happened when it happens anywhere else. usually they will take people off, cuff them, and they will face the law. And I think a lot of the things that people do here and feel they can get away with, if they were in other climes, they wouldn't do those things because they would respect the laws when they are in those other lands. It is here that we want to flex. But also, again, the ground staff, the aviation security, the manner in which they got the errant lady off the aircraft. We've established that that was also wrong, because while it's okay and allowed to arrest people and take them off aircraft when they are constituting a nuisance or becoming a safety threat to other people, the manner in which you do it is very, very important. So, yes, we have identified that those people also did not do the right thing in the manner in which they removed the woman. Now, when Bishop was speaking earlier, we talked about what is at the heart of all of these things and the common thread for all of these people. And I just want to re-emphasize that for me, it is that egotistic thing that we have about ourselves, that we do not think about the other person when we are doing things, when we are making decisions. We do not think about how our actions will affect other people. All we want to do is to show our power, especially when we're given the opportunity. That's something that is common amongst us here. That's
Why?
why we have
And
the
why?
"Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you know who
And
I
why
am?"
does the person feel the need to do that?
Sorry.
Let's go to the core of it. Why does a human being
Yes,
feel
yes,
the
I,
need
I-
to
I'm
do
coming to that, which is, driving back home. I identified that thread amongst all of this, actors and incidents. But what is really at the core of these behaviors? It is really how we have been raised and the things that we have been taught to value, the values that we have been raised with, which is where the problem really, really, really lies.
And who is raising who? Who is raising
It's
us?
us, the parents, the teacher. A lot of this starts from the homes. Sometimes we like to look at problems as other people's problem. Sometimes we look at other people's children as the bad ones. But the lady was giving an example the other day. Her daughter was always complaining how everyone was against her and blah 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 blah. And then she decided to dig deep. And when she found out, it was actually her daughter that was the bully. The reason why she did not have friends and people seemed to be against her was because she was the real bully. Meanwhile, she thought, my daughter is a saint and every other person's child is bad, which is how we are usually as parents. And so the charge is for us to take a closer look at our kids, because a lot of parents seem to have abandoned their parental responsibilities for different reasons. Some in the quest to, pursue money and other things. We abandon what we should be doing, what we should be modeling for our kids. Some have even abandoned the parental duties to helps, right? And so the kind of values that they have been raised with is wrong. And that is why they will become the Kwam ones of tomorrow, behaving in this manner in public, or the Emansis of tomorrow, behaving in this manner in public. It starts from the homes.
Can I
It
make a reference?
starts from when we're young. Yes, this is where
I'd
it
like
starts.
I'd like to
Yes,
make I'd like to make a reference. When
yes.
we talk about feminism, and we talk about aggressive wives, right? What is what is the reason why? Okay, we talk about aggressive wives, and we talk about uh, children who are antagonistic and who are like out of control. What is the reason why people behave when people get aggressive? What are they trying to do? What are they doing? Why are they doing it? Isn't it because they feel some kind of, if I don't, I need to protect myself?
It could also be an
Because,
inadequacy.
because yeah, an inadequacy because you feel unsafe. For instance, as a woman, I get approached by men, and I see sometimes even some women, they are just unnecessarily antagonistic. And I haven't done anything. I haven't said anything. You haven't even given me a chance to show you who I am. And I can tell that you are already feeling inadequate. Why? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? What I'm trying to
Hmm.
say is you already feel like I need to show that I am big. You will never need to show that you are big if you are not feeling small. You will not.
Inadequate. Yes.
Yeah, you said it without me saying anything. You brought it out. Inadequate. It's that feeling of inadequacy.
Hmm.
Okay, Shaya, can you come in at this point of the conversation? I'm saying this is, a lot of the times we tackle things from what we're dealing with the symptoms. The symptoms that we're dealing with are coming from something else. We haven't dealt with the root cause, and we just start to shout and shout on the surface. We can shut everybody up. If you shut me up and I behave accordingly the way you want me to behave, I am still myself. I am only displaying something different. And when something triggers it, you are going to get who I really am coming out. And those are the things are under. The issue is the root cause. Something is causing people to display a certain kind of symptom. And nobody wants to talk about that. We want to talk about people who are braless. Why is somebody being braless? Why is the girl even doing those things she's doing? Because now we got to see her social media handle. Why is she doing that? What does she want? Isn't there a reason why she's doing those things?
Okay. So yes, Shaya, you want to say something?
Josh, continue.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He doesn't want to contribute anymore.
Okay. So, I mean, again, like I said, a lot of these things start from the home and the nurturing that we give to our children. I, you, all of us who are parents, all of us are. This is where it starts from. This is the Kwam ones, the Emansons, and all the actors in this fiasco that we saw did not drop from the sky. There are people's children, right? So they didn't drop from the sky. So all of this are as a result of the values that they've been raised with. For instance, in a home where a child always gets away with what they do, even when they are, wrong, somehow they manage to just twist you or get you to look the other way, and you keep enabling their bad behavior. Like you know that this is wrong, but you say, oh, maybe because it's a child, or maybe because I don't want to flog, and I'm not advocating for flogging. I don't discipline my children that way. When I didn't know better, I used to, but when I learned, I stopped doing that. But I'm just saying, sometimes we abdicate the responsibility that we're supposed to do in raising our children and showing them what the standards of civility should be, when we don't do what we should do. Like, this is what emboldens people to become exhibit the kind of behavior that
Mm-hmm.
Kwam or the cabin crew or Emansin, or people, the kind of behavior people exhibit when they find themselves in certain situations. These things start from what we show them, the kind of examples we show them, and what values that we inculcate in them. And to prove these values, right? I was saying offline, um, why is it that on Chinese social media, what the kids are exposed to is so different from what people in Europe and America, and even now Africa, are exposed to, for instance. Whereas in a place like China, it is activities that teach people creative skills, problem solving skills, human relationships, those kind of emotional intelligence. Those kind of activities are the activities that are glorified on their social media
Mm-hmm.
or in culturally. For instance, the winner of a Big Brother, in
Mm.
Nigeria, a Big Brother show in Nigeria,
Mhm.
goes away with, say, $100,000, and then somebody wins cowbell mathematics competition and goes home with 50,000 naira. What are we trying to say as a people? What values do we hold dear? Because
Yeah.
these things are a reflection. Now, look at the case of Imanson. I don't have anything against her as a person or her lifestyle. I'm only speaking to her action
Are you sure?
on the plane. I'm only
Let me
speaking to her action
okay. On the
on the
plane.
plane.
Okay.
Yes, I'm speaking to her action on the plane and what that action says about her. And I'm wondering to myself, somebody acts in this manner that shouldn't be what we should be projecting, and yet people are scrambling. Individuals and companies are scrambling to endorse the person.
Hmm.
Whereas
And I
we
said they're
just
not doing it
finished
anonymously,
WAEC.
right?
We just finished WAEC. I have not heard of governments saying, "Oh, we will sponsor you, give you a scholarship to university, and then when you graduate, you have a ready job in government." I'm not seeing that. Meanwhile, a government wants to give somebody who exhibited bad behavior a job. There are graduates in that state, people who are looking for jobs,
Hmm.
well-behaved people that don't have the opportunity. Why is this person getting? I mean, I don't begrudge her. I'm just trying to show that the things that we glorify as a people reflect what our values as a people are. And
Yeah.
that's the
So let
point I'm
me.
trying to make. And this thing starts from the family units and then it spreads out to
All
the
right.
larger society. And
You've
we need
covered
to
what I was.
go back and have a reorientation of what our values as a people should truly be. Yeah.
You've covered what I was going to say because I was just going to because my thing is I can look at something and and I can see that everybody here because we can say that it's a society. I'm like, who are the people who are offering her these jobs? They're not doing it anonymously. They're doing it with their full names, with their full chest, as we like to say, and that is because they know that in this society, who is going to what this just like you said, this is a society who is going to reward the person who did Big Brother with so many millions and not the person who did the WAEC and did well in WAEC, right? So this is a society. Well, who are the people who make up the society? It is us as individuals, right? Because I can imagine when somebody is saying society, the society that who makes up society? It's all the different units, different families. If each one of us had these as our values and priorities, who is now going to be in the society that's going to welcome and uplift these things that we don't want? So that's why I'm saying the things that I can't control, I say all the time, I can actually be happy because what I will do is, as much as what is within my control, that's where I will go and exert my power. I cannot be trying to exert power over you, right? Or over the other person because I'm not controlling you. I would have to be God. And since I don't have I'm not, I need to focus on myself.
Yes, Bishop, welcome back. Ooh, I just welcomed him and
It's zoomed out.
it got
I think
disconnected.
he'll probably be right back. So
Do we still
yeah,
have Cheyenne with us?
no, I think he's no, he's not throwing a tantrum. I was about to joke that he's throwing a tantrum. he's he's gone.
Don't fight Cheyenne's trouble, Uzo.
His story is going to be that she doesn't want to, and I don't see how, because if it's really that I don't want the other opinion, then why are you here? Why are you here? Everybody say your opinion. I'm just saying we don't have to argue. We can just make our point. Make your point. You make your point. You make your point. When we're arguing, we'll say no, 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 no. And that's exactly what you said. You can't tell me no. I said don't argue.
Also, we'll talk about this off camera. Welcome back, Bishop.
Thank
You've
you.
missed quite a bit, and we've missed your wisdom and your insight as well. So please, now that you are here, um, let's hear your thoughts, further thoughts on the issue.
Okay. Well, there was nothing they did not do to frustrate me from participating in today's meeting, but I thank God that at
Who is
least
it?
I have
Is
bits and
it people
pieces.
giving her the ambassadorial positions? Maybe the ones frustrate.
Hmm. Everything, everything. But I have learned how to fight back because it is at times like this that you see God actually drop life changing things.
I don't know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Okay.
It is situations where you're trying, doing your best to make an input, and you see it's like all hell is let loose. I have learned not to
Yeah.
give up.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my contribution is this. I listened to Tony's last comment, and I will say that I also listened to the question that Ozo was asking. What makes up society? In a normal situation, society is made up of an aggregation of views and points being expressed by members of the society. But the difference is that the Nigerian society is largely a captured society.
Mhm.
Um, the political class and the moneyed class, to very large extent, less than 3% in number, they have a way of determining conversations. In a sense, they are the gatekeepers of our society, and they determine the mindsets. Nigeria is
Agenda
largely,
setters.
yeah, they set agenda. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
They set agenda. And because we have no option, we play along. When you hear things like stomach infrastructure, what does it mean? A hungry man is not somebody that you can subject to decency in conversations. And you know, in this Nigeria, northern Nigeria, they don't want the Almajiris educated. Their, their wealthy class don't want the Almajiris educated because these are the legs and hands they use to foment whatever thing they want to foment to determine the direction of our politics and governance, and therefore more money for them. So Nigeria is largely a society that is going through ups and downs. Yeah. Therefore, you cannot depend on society to determine the trend. Agenda setting is done by this class. So, what is the solution? How can we see what we desire to see? I have told you that this society is largely a society where might is right. And the might need to be defined. Might can either be the force of arm or financial muscle or political power. Typical example, in all your life of traveling all over the world, have you ever seen a member of the Republican Party or a member of the Democrat Party being a high functionary of the Republican Party and being the most vocal member of a government formed by Republican Party?
Nigeria is not a real place.
I am telling you. So all the analysis doesn't work here. It just does not work here. Listen, this is a country where there are things we can't say in the public, really. If I really have money, I can kill somebody and kill the matter.
Ah.
It's
If
funny but sad. It's a sad
the,
reality. Yes.
it's a fact.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The way.
There are people here in Nigeria you can't even bring to court.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what they did.
Mhm.
One day I was traveling out, I was flying with BA, and I got to the control sections where they search you, they ask you where you're going, bring your international passport. And I saw some young teenagers, obviously they are Fulanese or something like that. And they ran across that point. They started running from where you say bye-bye to your guests or hosts as you leave the airport. These children started running from there. Nobody stopped them, and they ran across and ran to the aircraft. I put my head there immediately. You don't know me very well. Sometimes I can be stubborn. Oh. I put my head as the security man came to block me. I said, "Will you get out from there? Who are these children? Why didn't you stop them?" He said, "I beg, carry your wahala. They go, I beg, just go." I also went through the same process. I was entering into American embassy once, and a certain person from the north, again, Toban, one of these are blue bloods, who were queued up since 5:30 a.m. The guy arrived around 7. They just opened the entrance. He entered. I came out from the queue and joined him. I was waiting to see who would stop me. Two of us entered. So we don't have as many people who are willing to throw down their ego, do the odd job, like you fold your sleeves and jump into the gutter to do the job. Here in Nigeria, nobody thinks like that. In fact, somebody will look and say, "Huh? You mean Bishop is doing that? What kind of bishop is he?" That's the normal thinking. So I am therefore saying that in this country, what happened in that Ibom Air or that
Value
flight
jet.
where the yes, imagine an ordinary musician that I don't even listen to his music. You find yourself entering an aircraft and carrying your alcohol, and you are insisting that you have a right to drinking your alcohol, that nobody should stop you. And then they stop you. You came down to go and stand in front of the aircraft. I like what the pilot did. Although international standards
No,
was
no, Bishop,
compromised.
let's not encourage that. That was
I,
reckless.
I, I am speaking for myself.
That's reckless.
An unusual situation requires an unusual solution.
Oh, an unusual situation where you are entrusted with people's lives
The
requires
point
that
I'm
you
making is
show exceptional calm and responsibility, Bishop.
why would that man go and stand in front of the aircraft? Why?
Yes, but his standing in front of the aircraft is wrong, but it wasn't endangering anybody. But her moving could have killed him and other ground staff or airport users. What she did
You see,
contravened pre-departure
you see, you see, this
um,
what Tony.
rules.
Well, I think I was making my own submission actually.
Sorry,
You
sorry,
see,
Bishop.
I know that people like you have to be politically correct.
No, I'm not. Bishop, I have the benefit of having worked with an airline. So I know that what she did was procedurally wrong.
I say it is right? I didn't say it is right. All I said is that there comes a time that people's bluff should be called in this country.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually a little conflicted on this particular point because I am minded the way Bishop is speaking. Because look, if somebody knows that nobody's going
Hmm.
to take this BS from me, they're going to adjust a little, right?
Yeah,
But
but not
but
in a
because
way that if she had killed him by that act, we would not be saying this today.
I'm not sure I
Despite
would
him
worry.
being wrong.
I will
You
not be
know what I
worried
said
about it.
about two wrongs not making it right? Miss Imansi was wrong the way she behaved. But then again, the staff who took her out were also wrong. So if we're saying the pilot should have shown him, that's again showing power.
Maybe
But
Yeah.
no.
with great responsibility, with great how do they say it again? With great power comes great responsibility. As a pilot, you should show calm under pressure and follow. I mean, I support any punishment they want to give to Kwam. If they had not got the Ibom hair lady out that way, I would have supported any punishment they would have given her all through. So I'm not making any excuses for them, but I'm just saying two wrongs cannot make it right. That's all I'm
Sometimes,
saying.
sometimes two wrongs can be just all right, except that in this particular one, yeah. Sometimes two wrongs can be just fine, and I will sleep well. However, yes, because of the particular circumstances
She
and the
could have
children,
I
killed
know.
him and
maybe no,
other
no, I
I
will
people
not
know.
be.
there.
I will not be worried about his death. I actually will not be worried about his death. I'll be worried about her and the
Eh,
trouble that she'll be facing for having killed him.
I
That's what I'll
I
be worried
agree with Tony that two wrongs don't make any right anywhere,
about. Ah,
anytime.
sometimes two wrongs is
I
just two,
agree.
man.
I agree that a professional that's a pilot should exercise a lot more, much more calm. I agree. But we must also agree that our society, we need
We
an
need a wake up.
intervention. Yeah,
Agreed, Bishop. Agreed.
this
Fully
society
agreed.
is in an emergency room, and it cannot just continue.
It's
And
on
it is
an
going, yeah, it is going out of control. For instance, when I was younger, let me repeat what I said in an earlier Zoom meeting. When I was younger, if you hear that somebody died by the bus stop, you will see how every person is running away from that place. Today in Nigeria, there will be a dead body, and people are just walking across and carrying on. Things are really going out of control in this country.
things aren't going out of control. That's not true.
Okay.
Things are in hell.
Okay.
Well,
Something
that's
worse than
even
out of
worse.
control. Okay. I thought you were disagreeing. Okay. So my second to my last son left Nigeria for about 5 to 6 years. And as he came back, I went to pick him from the airport. I was at the garage, where the international flights land, and at the parking lot. So the boy came out. We were all sitting. As soon as the people coming in started coming out, and people were entering into their cars and going out, everybody was horning, va, va, va. Cars were starting, tires were screeching, people were running, scatter. My son was like panicked. He said, "What's going on here? What's going on here? What's wrong? What's wrong?" I held him in the hand, and then we went into the car. He said, "Is anything wrong? Is there a crisis or something?" I said, "No. He's been gone for just 5 years." And he just come, he said, "Where he is, you can hardly ever hear somebody horning." He said he can't remember hearing somebody's horn in the last 4 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You have okay. Imagine our place. Some people habitually use the song. There's a guy that drives me. He just doing pam 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 pam. One day I asked him, "Shegu, what exactly are you horning for?" He said, "Josa, leave me alone,
Yeah.
Jerry."
Yeah. Here we
So
drive without honking. If you even honk your thing, it will be like, is that person? Who is that person? Is that person crazy?
exactly, exactly.
And yet,
So
we don't create traffic issues. We don't.
exactly. Somebody can stop just to buy Bolly on the road. And if you try to, especially certain types of women, if you try to just insist, they will come out and start throwing their power. Women also have the certain power that they drop when push comes to shove. What are you going to do? Are you going to slap her? Are you going to push her? And everybody will wait until she finishes her madness. Will continue. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the point I'm making is I've been talking in my own platforms that the politicians in Nigeria, they don't understand power. You don't win an election, they say we are giving them the gains of democracy. And I have continued to say for as long as I know that the gain of democracy is not doing roads or building hospitals or schools. No.
They call it dividends of democracy.
It's crazy. The dividend of democracy is that I am a stakeholder. I have a say in governance.
Agreed.
Not, how can you tell me that is it your money you're using to build the road? It's a
That's
fundamental
a
right of
right.
government.
That's a
Yes.
right.
It's not a privilege. But in their minds, He's a senator. He's coming. There's a siren for him. He drives everybody out of the road to pass to his own work. Meanwhile, he should be the person who comes down from his car and sees how bad things are and says, okay, let everybody go first because I'm here to serve them. The, pu-
Service.
the public service is about service. It's not about convenience for the officers of the government. I was going to the airport in Abuja one day. I came down from the Uber I went with, and they were bringing an officer of government to the airport. 17 or 18 Prados followed one man from Aso Rock to airport. The man got down, and all of these cars turned back to Aso Rock. Most of them were empty.
Waste of fuel,
Everything, even air
time,
polluting the air, everything is
polluting the
included in
air,
it.
everything.
So where do you start from? Where do you end? So I am saying that we need a cleaning platform, a cleaning structure that can come in and set this nation back into a proper motion.
Yes, but Bishop, a question. How do we achieve this?
You see, if you ask me, my opinion is this: let certain institutional framework be brought into the choice of who emerges as a political candidate. For instance, if you say that before anybody can fill an INEC form, we need to know the pastor that produced you, and the pastor must give us an undertaking. The pastor must give us an undertaking that if you fail in office, we'll shut down his church. It will be clear that he's not training his people right. If you say that before somebody emerges in a political structure, look at America now. When somebody is a political candidate, is an American presidential candidate, you see him stand, you see his family, you see his children. All these are statements being made that this man is found
Ah,
reliable.
but we know
In
mm, we know those are not quite reliable
no,
because
no,
we
let me.
point.
You see the point, Abby. I'm satisfied if you have seen the points. There are certain institutional frameworks that we should bring into how people emerge for political offices across board, and not only that, those who are also PAs, SAs, those who are also heads of organizations. There must be a way that we can track and discipline. It is just institutional structures that can discipline them. When we were younger,
Mm,
they said that they should change the name of University of Lagos into maybe Abiola University.
Yes.
Nigerian students, NANS will come out and say, never, we don't want. Then Nigerian Labour Congress could speak, but all these institutional frameworks are dead. They're all compromised. Even the churches. You can't
Sadly.
hold you can't hold a protest against a government, a president like Tinubu. Meanwhile, you could hold the conferences against Jonathan.
Mm.
You could protest against Jonathan, carry placards as pastors, bishops, senior ministers. But ever since the nation it has died much more, the church is unable to come together. So if somebody accuses us of tribalism, can we say it's not true? There's a video that is trending where one big pastor that is, I've met him severally, I've been trying to bring him to my church. He has just said that there is a data by World Council of Churches that out of the 10 richest pastors in the world, that 5 of them are from Nigeria. But
I feel that.
out of the 10 richest churches in the world, there is no Nigerian church mentioned as one of the richest churches.
Mm.
But out of 10 richest pastors, Nigeria has 5 slots.
Mm.
And then what is more, he said that the Catholic Church, you go to Alitalia, you will see the yearly itinerary of the pontiff, and the Italian airline is what he flies, the pontiff and all his cardinals. Meanwhile, every Nigerian pastor, I'm not included though, because it doesn't cross my mind that somebody can even own an aircraft. You see people who just have one or two churches in Abuja and they own aircrafts.
They also say you're jealous. So
Of course, if they hear me, I can say this here. If they hear me, the next thing they will say is that he doesn't have a big church. No mind, I mean, it's just, you know. So I'm just saying that it doesn't matter the points at which you're looking at Nigeria. We have problems.
Yes.
so
Yes. We know we have problems, but what we want to try to do is not just look at the problems, but try to see practical, realistic solutions to those problems. And I hear you, Bishop. The strengthening institutional frameworks
Yeah,
is very, very important.
yeah,
Before you joined, we had talked about the family units and
yeah.
how, in terms of the values that we teach our people, it has to start from that level, that basic family unit, because it seems like a lot of parents are not doing what they should be doing in setting the right examples, for our young ones. And that reflects, that's what I was saying when you joined, in everything, the things that we glorify.
Yeah,
Somebody gets the best result in WAEC and gets 10,000, 50,000 naira, and somebody wins Big Brother and gets $100,000.
it's
Or
crazy.
somebody behaves badly and is being chased down by governments and different people for ambassadorial position. Whereas
If,
another person gets the highest result in JAM and nobody is even talking scholarships and things like that. So those things show the
let me
kind of
let,
values
let me even add
we
something.
glorify.
Let
Yes.
me even add something to what you have said. Have you noticed that? I don't know how old you people are really. When we were in secondary school, when people like Chris Okotie were singing, for you to get an opportunity to be put on a platform, there is a dress code. Go and check how musicians used to dress late 70s, early 80s. Your shirt, you must be properly dressed for them to accept you to sing on NTA. But these days, the more naked you are, because there's no restrictions, no standards anymore.
so as we're saying, if we leave our standards to other people, they are going to be the ones to tell us our standards. So a person needs to know who he is and where he's going. Otherwise, other people are going to tell him. So when we say it, as I say again, how much influence can I have on everybody else and on the society? If I am doing mine in my house and you're doing yours in your house and he's doing his in his house and Shaya is doing his in his house, I think we can begin to, even if it will have a ripple effect, you know. And one day I sent a video to my cousin. A man had beaten up his fiancée and her clothes were bloodied, blood, real blood, and she was in the hospital bed. And he was like, how do we prevent our children from getting involved with animals like this? There's no way until they display that thing and it shows. And I thought about it and I was like, I don't think so. I think that there is a way, really. And the way is, if I have if I have taught my children to always have high standards, and that is by me having high standards, then they will get so used to what is of high standard that when they meet somebody who is not of a certain standard, they don't even take that friendship beyond, it doesn't go beyond here. So there's no way they're going to get that close to that person. But the trick is that we need to teach that person from the time that they are little what their standards are. Because if I come to your house and your living room is anyhow, I'll place my feet on your table. But if I am
The- Let,
seeing,
Do you know my
Yeah,
challenge? Let me tell you my challenge with what you're proposing, Musa.
yeah,
Let me typify it. Look at the way Lagos streets are. Tony, you operate in Lagos. Government will try to do roads, and somebody in the north will just park a trailer with derelicts and bring them to the middle of, let's say, Lekki Phase 1, and bring all of them down there. And some of those men and women that are brought there begin to have children on those streets. And you see those children coming to perch on your window to ask for money. You that have done your best to bring yourself and your own family up well, you see that your effort is just rubbished. I just took an aspect.
yes. Why did they have the effrontery to do that?
Somebody in leadership should be able to ensure
They're not
that
doing. They're not going to do it.
the efforts being made by certain people are not made useless by the carelessness of others. That's the point I'm bringing to the table. You may
Meaning there's a multifaceted approach to this. There's the
exactly,
family, there's the institutional.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly, exactly. So just take note of that point. It's an
Yeah.
addition, not a disagreement with what Uzo is saying.
Yeah, it's yeah, definitely. Okay, I think that we've gone on. Or what do you think? We've gone on. We've gone
Yes.
beyond what we had planned, and as we know, the platform is actually trying to direct us to look inwards and to look at what we can do to create any positive improvements. And on the conversation, we talked about family and the effect of upbringing and environment on the person that a person becomes and why they do the things that they do. I was trying to tell a story about the girl when I saw her, what it brought to my mind. I think I'll have to do that in the post. But anyway, we are partnering with an organization that works with families and that helps family relationships and communication so that
Yeah,
if we're having problems with communication within the family or even between couples, and I've shouted many times that I don't like to talk about married couples. And so, because I'm involved here, I didn't seek people who are interested in dealing with married couples. They should just go and do their own wahala separately. So, we're talking about people who
mm,
aren't yet married so that we can create good foundations. So, uh, I will put a link under this video, maybe by before the end of the weekend, so that people who are interested looking for help one way or the other, maybe where there's communication breakdown between family and children, parents and children, or stuff like that, or between couples who are still trying to create their relationship and to build it so that they can have help with those people with that organization. And
That's great. Well done.
yeah, and with that, I have closed. So if you have anything else to add, please add.
Nothing more to add on my side.
me too, me too.
Okay, thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Have a great weekend, everyone. And thanks to Debbie, to Peace Diaries. Thank you,
Yeah.
as always, for being here. Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, everyone in the
All right.
audience. Right. Thank you for your
Cheers,
contributions.
everyone.
Right. Have a
Good
beautiful
night.
and blessed weekend.
Good
Okay.
night.
Bye bye.